And here today with another episode of the Star Wars podcast. It's been a little while, but hopefully I'll be able to get back in the swing of things. Anyways, today's episode is about Lord Hethrir. Lord Hethrir is a male Fyrario, if that's the right way to pronounce it. I'm not exactly sure. From the planet Fyrarii. Uh, it, he had a son named Tigris and a lover who is was no longer a lover by the time he came to power, named Rilau, and he died around the year 14 AD. Why? Anyways, Hethrir had come to a high position in the empire. He was the procurator of justice, and he had gained his position from devastating his homeworld, and he relocated some of his people during that time before he destroyed his planet, basically devastated it, and essentially a lot of Ferrarios died in this attack. Ferrarios are near human-like, so that's how, even though he was an alien, he was able to gain such a high position because he was similar to a human, even though he was an alien. Furthermore, since he was procurator of justice, he was able to gain a lot of resources within and outside of the empire. So, when the empire falls, Hethrir is able to escape its fall essentially and sustain himself outside of the empire with his own monetary resources. Hethrir, in doing this, reforms his own empire, known as the Empire Reborn, based off of Force users. What Hethrir does is he steals children from these ships that of relocated people, and he trains them up in his image, I guess is the best way to say it. And by the time they're trained, they're able to use a force, they're able to use lightsaber. These lightsabers are only activated by force users, and so he essentially has an army of force users that are in a strict line of hierarchy, and he's at the top of that hierarchy. He also has armies outside of these force users from his allies from before he formed this separate army, and from his monetary resources. So he has lots of power. Hethrir, as I said, has a son. His son, Tigris, was also stolen during this time from one of those ships. However, Tigris was not force usable, even though both of his parents were. Uh, Hethrir is going to be disappointed in his son because of this, and watches over him for quite a few years. Tigris doesn't know till around the time that Hethrir dies that Hethrir was his father and that Rialu was his mother. And he thinks, well, he knows Rialu was his mother. Difference is, he thinks his mother, Rialu, was betraying him because that's what Hethrir taught him. Anyways, Hethrir doesn't pay too much respect to his son, and as I said, never really told him that he was his son. And Hethrir also had disagreement with his wife Rialu about what to do with their son and how the Force should be used, because both of them were trained by Darth Vader in using the Force. Rialu was more of a healer, so she wasn't attuned to the dark side, you could say, and she eventually left. And meanwhile, Hethrir stayed with them. Eventually, Hethrir got his position as procurator of justice. Furthermore, uh, during Hethrir had several stations such as Krish Station and whatnot. And eventually, while he's trying to form his empire, he ends up having to start stealing children. And he steals children such as Jason, Gianna, and other like human and non-humans. He mainly keeps humans because, again, he's the Empire Reborn. And Empire Reborn, they're probably going to focus on human type people because the Empire, normal Empire, focused on human or near humans. And he tries to make some alliances as well. He tries making an alliance with the powerful being called Waru at Krish Station. And when he does this, things go wrong. Han Solo and Leia show up trying to get their children back. And Waru ends up killing Hethrir because of a deal. And Waru needs a force sensitive in order to go back home, I believe. That's what Waru is trying to do. And this is how Hethrir dies. At this moment, the Empire Reborn collapses, and Hethrir doesn't really leave anything other than his son and wife, who, once Tigris goes back to his mother, will eventually agree with his mother as they escape the planet. So, Hethrir was essentially a dark side user, not super powerful, but semi powerful with an underlying army that was ready to come out. But just when he was about to make his appearance on full scale, his empire collapses because he is killed by the being Waru. So that's Lord Hethrir. If any of you want to know more about him, just ask any questions in the comments or anything. But that's essentially it. And he dies in the year 14 ABY. If you want to know the specifics, let me know what other topics you want me to discuss, and see you guys later.